Hi, I have in front of me here an MPEG-4 high definition digital terrestrial receiver, which is ideal for receiving the new digital terrestrial service here in Ireland. Okay, it's made by a company in Germany called Xoro, and they're famous in the German market for being a high quality product at a very competitive price, and we've sold distribution rights for them here in the Republic of Ireland at tvtrade.ie. So the other products they make that we also stock is a standard definition satellite receiver, a high definition satellite receiver, and a unique feature of all these boxes is they all come with built-in media players, and all very conveniently have the USB key slots on the front of the box, so it makes it very easy to input and add USB keys or hard drives. Okay, so just to give you a quick overview of what actually comes with the MPEG-4 terrestrial receiver. We have a manual that comes in English. We have a set of AAA batteries, a remote control, an RCA to RCA lead, and also the terrestrial receiver itself. So just quickly slide this out of the way, and we come down to this level here. We can see in the front of the box we have an on-off button and a channel up and down buttons. We have a display here for displaying what channel, whether the box is on or off, and also we have this USB port that I was talking about earlier. So you can see the box is very small and compact in design. So on the back here then, anyway, we have the RF in, which will take a feed from a terrestrial aerial, and you can actually loop that to a second one. So that means the feed from the aerial can be fed, but there's no actual modulator in this box. We have a SCART output here for connecting television. We have RCA outputs here, which will match up with the RCA lead we have, and we also have a HDMI output for running high definition pictures to a HD TV, and then we have the actual power connection here as well. Okay, now so what would we use this in conjunction with? Well, we need obviously to take an input from an aerial. So just behind me here, what we have is we have a UHF aerial. So this is a 10 element UHF aerial here. It's wideband, and this would be typical of what we'd sell in kits, and the vast majority it's digital compatible, and it'll do in the vast majority of areas. And if we needed a higher gain area, we'd normally use something like a grid aerial here, or perhaps a color coded one, depending where in the country. So I'll quickly give an overview of how to connect this in and put it and get a picture up on the screen. Okay, so the first thing I'll do is just turn around the back of the box here. The first thing I'll do is actually take the SCART lead here. I'm going to feed it down like this, and we just connect the SCART lead in here and mount it outside of here. This SCART lead just connects into the back of the television, and we also have a lead here that's coming from an aerial that we have on top of the roof. Okay, so what we do is we come along and we just feed it into the RF in here, and then the final step is we actually turn on the box. So just plug it in like this, wait a few moments, and we just wait for the box to flick on. Okay, so we see it comes up on the screen here. It's Xoro. Okay, and it'll give us, if it's the first time you're plugging it in, it'll bring it directly up onto an installation menu. So you can see we just have a choice of languages here. So English is obviously what you want. The country then is almost irrelevant, because it'll, regardless of, France is normally the default. France is one of the biggest markets in Europe for MPEG-4 receivers. That's probably why it's the default on this box. So we just arrow down as far as channel search and click OK, and it'll just go through a full search here. So we can see here it's starting off at the bottom of the VHF spectrum, but it'll work through. So, you know, as it only takes, we'll say, 60 seconds to go through this whole sequence here, it's no big thing to be able to type in the frequency directly. And as well as that, it'll search through and look for the strongest signal for you, okay? So we've skipped now already up into the UHFs. So the UHF spectrum covers from channel 1 all the way up to channel 68. Anywhere within that spectrum, it's the new digital signal will be found, and the old VHF signal will be turned off, along with the analog system being turned off at the end of 2012. And that's not happening just in Ireland, but it's happening right across the European Union. Analog will effectively be dead from the end of 2012. So we can see the progress on the bar coming along here, and at this point in time, on the left hand side it's digital terrestrial television, and on the right hand side is the new DAB radio stations, okay? And both are capable of being picked up by this box. Now currently we'll say there's only the free channels there. It had been hoped to launch a full commercial service, but this obviously hasn't happened because of the economic downturn in Ireland, and it's fairly questionable whether people will ever make money from launching, just simply because of the size of the Irish market. But you can see here on the left hand side we have all of the Irish channels there, RT1 and 2. RT2 currently has been broadcast in high definition. It's unique, but more channels will go that route soon, and that's why it's very, very important if you're buying a generic box that you look for something that's MPEG-4 and high definition compatible. TV3, TG Car, the RT News channel, which is quite good. Now it's picking up from second transmitter, and so it adds them on here. And then number 7 is temporary, and when it says temporary there, it'll either be a test transmission or some. Currently RT2 is actually the standard definition version of it. It's still being broadcast, but that'll be turned off later this year. Okay, and on the right hand side you can see the radio stations are overlapping now, but it's a total of 10 digital stations, and they're all being broadcast by RTE. So what we really need to do is reach a point of a critical mass of people. So it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation, but definitely digital is the way to go. So on the radio thing, it will happen eventually. It was the same thing in the UK as they're moving over to the DAB service, but it's happening now. And you can see anyway, it's been plugged in there. So we come along here and we can see it starts on channel 800, and you can see we pulled in signal from 2 different transmitters. I'll just turn down this volume here. You can see we pulled it in from 2 different transmitters, but what this box does very cleverly is it figures out which transmitters on your roof which transmitter that's been picked up by your area has the strongest signal, and whoever has the strongest signal, that's the one that will save onto the box. So a total of 7 channels, and obviously this 806 probably eventually will disappear off or just stay there as a test card. So that's it, an overview of the Xoro MPEG-4 high definition terrestrial receiver and how to install it.